Okay, class, let's proceed to our topic na no. The next topic under the core syllabus is the concept of plurality of crimes. Okay, concept of plurality of crimes. Meaning there are numerous crimes that are committed, no? There are once we say plural, no, it entails more than one, okay? So but there are many kinds of plurality of crime. So, plurality of crimes are considered complex crimes. In essence, they are complex crimes under Article 48. No? Under Article 48 class, there are two forms of complex crimes. Okay? The first one is the compound crime. Okay? It's kinda, sometimes the terminologies used are confusing, no? There are complex crime, but there are two complex crime. Number one is compound crime. Then number two is complex crime proper. So it's really about play of words, no? But they are considered complex crimes under Article 48 of the Revised Penal Code. So let's discuss the first kind of complex crime, which is compound crime. So when we say compound crime is that when a single act constitutes two or more grave or less grave less grave felonies. Okay, what example of this is this: person A wants to kill person B. Okay, person A throw a handheld grenade at person B to kill person B. Okay, so the handheld grenade was thrown to person B, and person B was killed because of the explosion of the grenade. But other than B, C, D also died from the expulsion because of the handheld grenade nga explosion. Okay? Then A, B, C. Sorry. Repeat. Sorry. I am confused. Nawala ko kay there are so many people outside. I cannot concentrate. I am very sorry. Again, A wants to kill B. So A throw a handheld grenade at B. So the explosion of the grenade killed B. But other than B, C and D was also killed. E, F, G was also severely wounded and it caused serious physical injuries. So, diba, according to Article 48, single act constitutes two or more grave or less grave felonies. Okay? So, the single act of throwing the handheld grenade produces multiple felonies. 3 murders, okay? B, C, D, E, F, G, 3 grave serious felonies, serious physical injuries. Those are considered grave, no? Grave felonies gihapon. So the single act produces a number of grave or less grave felonies. Okay? Very clear. The complex crime proper, the second form of complex crime, is that when the offense is a necessary means of committing another crime. So, a very good example is this what we call malversation of public funds through falsification of public documents. Okay? Falsification of public documents. Sorry. Another example is estafa through falsification of commercial documents. Meaning, you cannot commit estafa, no? You cannot commit estafa without falsifying the commercial documents. So, basically, there are two crimes committed: the falsification of the commercial documents and the estafa. But under the complex crime proper, the two acts are all, the two acts is only punishable by one penalty. Okay? Clear kaya na ha? That's very clear that although there are two acts committed, the falsification of the documents and the estafa, they are considered as one crime. That is what we call complex crime proper. No? Without the other crime, the second or the other crime cannot be consummated. Another example is murder, no? Murder through kidnapping, okay? So you kidnap, the person was kidnapped by these bad elements, and then because the ransom was not given, then the person that was kidnapped was murdered, okay? So the kidnapping serve as as the initial crime committed to consummate the second crime, which is murder. So murder through kidnapping is another example of complex crime proper. Okay? The requisite is that there are at least two offense committed. So in the first example, falsification and estafa. Then the second example, kidnapping, then murder. That one or some of the offense must be necessary to commit the other. Like for example, in the case of estafa through falsification, without falsifying the documents, you cannot commit estafa. So in the case of kidnapping and murder, without the act of kidnapping, there could have not been a murder that was consummated, okay? And that both or all of the offenses must be punished under the same statute or the same statute or law. So they are both punishable under the revised penal code, okay? So that is complex crime. So we have compound and complex crime proper. Then we proceed to continuing or transitory, no? Continuing crimes or transitory or moving crimes. Unsa man ni sila, okay? When we say continuing crimes or transitory moving crimes, the elements of the offense is committed in different localities such that the accused may be charged in any place where an essential element of the crime was committed. Okay. This is what we call transitory because there are a number of scene of the crime, or there are a number of crime scenes. Okay, there are a number of crime scenes. Like for example, okay, when we say murder, a simple case of murder class, 'di ba? Isa lang naman, there's only one place. You kill the person, let's say in the plaza. The crime scene is only in the plaza. But when we say continuing crimes or transitory moving crimes, there are multiple locations where the crimes were committed. Okay? There are so many examples. Number 1, BP 22, violation of Batas Pambansa bilang number 22, or what we call anti-bouncing check law. Okay? So, for example, I signed a worthless check here in Mambahaw, and that check was in cash in Cagayan de Oro, no? And it was declined because there are no sufficient funds, blah blah blah, or any other elements of BB22. That is considered moving or transitory crime because the first element of writing the check was consummated or was done in one place, and then the other elements, the other essential element was committed in a different place, then that is what we call continuing or transitory crimes. Another example is that X kidnapped A, A kidnapped B, and it was illegally detained in Baguio. So kinidnap ni A si B, and B was illegally detained in Baguio. So those areas na from, let's say, A was kidnapped pala in Manila, then was brought to Baguio to be illegally detained. So the areas where the person travels from Manila to Baguio, no, those areas can acquire jurisdiction. Because one of the elements of criminal litigation or criminal law is that venue is jurisdictional. Okay? Venue is jurisdictional. It means that you cannot just file anywhere. For example, if you kill someone in Mambahaw, Camiguin, you cannot file a case of murder in Cagayan de Oro City because venue is jurisdictional, meaning you can only file cases where the elements of the crime was committed. So, in this case, when we say moving or transitory crimes, all those areas where the person was kidnapped and was illegally detained, those areas can acquire jurisdiction over the case. Okay? Okay. Sir, how can it be continuing crime? How can it be a continuing crime? Because even if, no, di ba sabi ko, venue is jurisdictional. So, even if, for example, from Camiguin, no, I was kidnapped, no, I'm here in Mambahaw, Camiguin, I was kidnapped here, and I was bought in Cagayan de Oro City. So, from Camiguin, we passed through Misamis Oriental, then Cagayan de Oro City. So, all those areas, no, it was considered continuing because there's only one single act, and that is the kidnapping or the illegal detention. But it is considered multiple crimes because there are several, no, several elements committed at the several areas. Okay? So, again, it is considered as plurality of crimes, but there's only one crime. It's just so happened that some elements was committed in one area and the other elements was committed in the other areas, and those areas can acquire jurisdiction. So it was classified as plurality of crimes. Okay. Special complex crimes. Special complex crimes are iba. It's different from complex crimes. Okay, it's different from the compound crimes and the complex crime proper. Special complex crimes exist when two or more crimes are committed, but in the eyes of law, only one. Okay, only one. So, unsa may example. These special complex crimes, no, are provided. They are provided under the revised penal code. Specific ni na mga crimes. Let me check my notes again. Special complex crime. I'll send to you the list of special complex crimes in our GC so that you will have notes. Okay. There are only five special complex crimes: robbery with homicide, robbery with rape, kidnapping with serious physical injuries, kidnapping with murder or homicide, then rape with homicide. Those are the only five. Again, the only five special complex crimes under the revised penal code. Okay?
Sir, 7 lagi na sa module.
Ha?
7 ang naa sa module. Special complex.
Unsa na nga
complex
module
crimes.
inyong gi-open? Dili lagi na ko makita.
Sir, kaya dito na itong last time, gi-skip ni mo ang 8 kay imong kalisod. Kato kay mga videos na imong
Naanan ni sa module 8. Lagi, tagda ko pa lang itay sa let me check. Ako din nasa sa module 8. Kaysa ako among kong core syllabus, kining plurality of crimes, nasa module 16 supposedly. Naraman din 8 ay 7?
8, sir,
8.
8.
Ano siya 8? Special complex crime: robbery with homicide, robbery with rape, robbery with arson, kidnapping with serious physical injuries, kidnapping with rape, rape with homicide, and arson with homicide. 7 naman. Kung sa ika-8.
Ay, joke lang. 7 di ay module 8. Sorry, sir.
Ang wala ani sa ako ang gihatag sa inyo is rubber. 7. Arson with homicide. Is arson with homicide special? Dili ko sure anang arson with homicide. Kining arson with homicide and rape with homicide, dili ko sure ay kidnapping with rape, dili ko sure ani nila. Kay ang kini manggong special complex crime based ra gid siya sa revised penal code. If you can see kidnapping with rape and arson with homicide, wala na siya specific nga article. Wala siya specific nga article. Ang kining robbery with arson, wala po. Okay, class, let me check lang gid ha. But for the moment, let's just follow your module, okay? For the moment, let's follow your module, but let me check my other notes because I'm sure that the special complex crimes are specifically provided by the revised penal code. So for example, if the revised penal code has no provision for robbery with arson, then it cannot be considered as special complex crimes because it is not defined under the revised penal code. But let me get back to you on this, ha? But you just remember this. Special complex crimes are those crimes specifically enumerated under the revised penal code. Yun lang. There's nothing more to discuss on that matter. Okay? Continued crime. Ano po din continued crime? Okay. Sir, lahi ang continued crimes o continuing crimes, no? Okay. Different siya, okay? Let me clarify. 'Di ba earlier when we say continuing crimes, no? Example is the BP22 or kidnapping with illegal detention, no? One crime was committed or one of the elements of the crime was committed in one place and then another element of the crime was committed in a different place, no? So let's just say example na lang, kamambahaw kami again, I write a check and then the check was encashed in Cagayan de Oro. So there are two jurisdiction court there are two courts that can exercise jurisdiction over the case, okay? The Mambahaw, Camiguin and the Cagayan de Oro courts. Now, when we say continuing crime, because there are elements, no, that was committed in Mambahaw and there are also elements of the crime committed in Cagayan de Oro. So that is continuing crime. The continued crime, it is a series of the same crime, okay? Series of crimes committed by a singular person in one venue. Okay? So ang example is that person A robs the house of person B. Okay? First night, he steals the TV of B. Second night, he steals the washing machine. Third night, he steals the, what do you call this? Blender, rice cooker, whatever. So, although there are number of, we can consider that each crime should be separate, no? Because day 1, iba yung kinuha na item. Day 2, iba naman. Day 3, iba din. But under the eyes of the law, it is considered only one act of robbery. Okay? So that is continued crime. So the same crime was committed repeatedly by the same person against other person. That is continued crime. Okay? So I think that would be all. No? That would be all for the plurality of crimes. If you have any questions, I can answer, but let me get back to you on the special complex crimes, okay? Because I need to consult other resources so that we can settle how many special complex crimes there is in the revised penal code. Okay? Class, do you have any questions?
Sir, excuse me sir, based sa akong kuhan sir, baka nang akong nakuha, nag-search, magugigan ka ng 8 lagi ang kuhan lagi sa special crime sir.
Sige lang. Let me get back to you on that. I cannot yet comment because my resources says 5. That is a Supreme Court decision. Yours 8. So, nasa to module 7. So, let me give you a definite answer later. Okay? I need to research.
Oh, sige sir, thank you.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes, Miss Orang.
ba, ano niyo manaw niya, sir, ka ng...
Ako i-chat.
Okay, sir.
Libog kayo ang terminology, no? There are more among gunig sorry, I need to